What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 15, and in today's video I'll be discussing some of the strategies that I found helpful when it comes to studying for exams in DPT school. The workload can get hefty in DPT school, and rightfully so, because it's a doctorate level of education, and on top of that you only have 3 years to learn tons of information. I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you are a DPT student like myself or someone who's graduated already, I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so make sure you comment down below. Or if you are a pre-physical therapy student with any questions, just make sure you comment down below. If you are new to my channel, my name is Jin. I'm a second year DPT student, and I post every week on my experiences as a DPT student and my perspectives on some of the exciting things happening in the physical therapy world. So make sure you check out my channel, and if you are interested, click subscribe, like, turn the notifications on. I plan on making a whole separate video for anatomy just because it's such an important class that lays out the foundation for more advanced concepts later and pretty much the rest of DPT school, so stay tuned for that. I'll be discussing some of the specific strategies for studying for anatomy. But generally speaking, here are 5 most important lessons that I have learned so far as I enter my second year of DPT school on what works and what doesn't when it comes to studying for exams. Alright, lesson number 1, learn to adopt. DPT school is a completely different beast when it's compared to undergrad. I always thought it was going to be an extension of undergrad in terms of having to study a couple more hours here and there, but that is not the case. Simply put, the nature of the material that you're expected to learn, know, and apply is just completely different. So with that being said, you may have to learn to be flexible in the process of figuring out what studying strategy works for you. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because what has worked so far in your life may not work here in DPT school, and what has not worked out so far may work here. My personal example of how I had to adjust was studying in groups. I always got distracted when I was put in a group to study with my classmates, my friends, whoever it was. So of course I came into DPT school thinking, oh, I got this, I'll just get stuff done on my own, and when I'm done, that's when I'll have some fun or when I'll relax. But that is not how my first year turned out at all. One day, for some reason, I tried studying with a group of friends, a group of my classmates, and since then I have continued doing that before exams, and it's been one of the best changes that I have made since starting my DPT program. So just to elaborate on that a little bit more, what I do is I still study on my own leading up to the exam or the day before the exam. And the day before the exam is when I get together with a group of friends and we just quiz each other, and I teach my friends things that they didn't know, and they teach me things that I didn't know, and it works out great. Number 2, learn to use your resources. There are so many resources out there that is worth at least looking into, especially for classes like anatomy, where the content you'll be learning is pretty universal. This really depends on what kind of person you are. If you get distracted easily from looking at various sources when you're studying, this may not be the best option for you. However, what worked for me was looking at the lecture notes, looking at the lecture PowerPoints, and based on that, looking for additional resources either online or in textbooks to really help understand one concept. It just helps to hear from different perspectives sometimes, especially when you're confused, because at the end of the day, they're all saying the same thing. So whatever's out there for you, your classmates, your professors, upperclassmen, online sources like YouTube and textbooks, they will help you. Which actually leads to my next lesson that I want to share with you guys. Lesson number 3, don't be afraid to ask professors questions. One of my favorite things so far as a DPT student has been the student to faculty ratio. There are just tons of opportunities for you to ask questions. I went to University of Maryland for undergrad, and we had about 40,000 students in one class. So going from that to 65 students in one cohort was a big change for me. I know that a lot of DPT schools have a reasonable student to faculty ratio, so I would highly encourage you guys to ask questions if you are struggling to understand the concept for the upcoming exam, or if you just have any questions in general. Number 4, take breaks. There will be days where you'll just be studying all day pretty much, like the weekend before an exam, or like in our case, we had study days one day before our exam where the faculty just gave us one day to study. Well, it's so easy to just go at it and study all day on days like that. it's important to not exhaust yourself even before you start your exam. I definitely crammed for some of my exams in undergrad, and it worked because I was in the mindset of not having to worry about sustaining that information throughout my career. Cramming as a studying strategy is very interesting because it works really well for some people, while for some other people it just doesn't. But my point is, stuff that you'll be learning in PT school, you'll be expected to know throughout DPT program and even beyond that, unlike classes that you might have had in undergrad. Alright, number 5, learn from your mistakes. This applies to pretty much everything in life in general, but it's especially important in PT school where you might have to try different studying strategies until you figure out which one works for you. There could be a bit of learning curve for some of you guys, especially in the beginning, only because you have to make adjustments here and there until you get into a rhythm. But the good news is you can afford to make those mistakes as long as you learn from them. For example, for our program, we just have to pass the block and get above 70 average to basically pass and proceed. There are multiple exams throughout the block, and for our program, we hold exam reviews where students are allowed to ask professors right there and then why they might think answer is C instead of D, or asking for further explanations on questions that they might have gotten wrong. So now you know for the next exam, oh, this is what this professor was asking for, or oh, this professor really wants us to focus on this specific patient population. Alright, so that was it for today's video. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you are a pre-physical therapy student considering DPT school, those are my exam tips. If you are a DPT student that want to share your perspectives and your thoughts on this topic, make sure you comment down below. And thank you guys for watching. Please click subscribe, like, turn the notifications on so you know to come back when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching.